The saying goes that success is not a linear path. Success is not a straight path. Success is not just an event that life throws at anyone. But success is a series of events in context, in shapes and form that life throws to an individual who is committed and positioned to embrace failure, to be able to have a different orientation, insight, and understanding that all that one goes through, if the individual is investing in staying prepared, that individual will then have the resilience, the experience, the capability, the capacity, the competency to embrace failure, because the bedrock, like the iceberg, the bedrock of the surface people see failure to be, the pub and pageantry people see to be, the trend and the frenziness that successful people tend to enjoy, beneath that surface, like an iceberg, are some fundamental things that some people whom we celebrate as successful and achievers, they do. And I wish to share some of them with you, so perhaps it will get to unlock, stimulate, and widen your scope of worldview. Begin to help you to set certain things in place and reframings, re-engineering and repatternings that will support you to get the needed neurological support, environmental support, relational support that can get you to push into the widest of imaginations, implementations. So basically, what I wish to say here is to embrace failure. It comes to those who have stayed prepared for the very success they desire, for the very achievement they have set themselves to focus on. So embracing failure by staying prepared. And the one fundamental thing required to do so you can be in the pursuit of that higher height of achievement is one, the kind of mindset, the kind of heart set, the kind of gut set, the kind of experiences, and how you define them. Because as a matter of fact, we all come from places, even those supposedly we think they are born with a golden spoon in their mouth, they still have got things they need to overcome to become. For instance, if you look at the son of Cristiano Ronaldo, sometimes I pity that young boy, because he will forever be measured in the frames and the successes of his father. So even those who come from such a space will require a different mindset and orientation, so they can become them, more or less I would say, so that they can become me, such that they will also not buy into the measuring state that the universe will already partition. If you come back in my country called Ghana, one of the most prolific, profound footballers we have ever produced is Abedi Ayew Pele, who turned 60 years recently, and he's got 3 of his sons. One had the opportunity to captain the national team of this country, which the father did. So it can be easily for the environment to position his children to measure up to who the daddy was in his era playing for the nation. And so they themselves who come from such a place also have got some mindset to be able to work around. Then also those of us who come from the typical survival environment, it behoves on us to not limit that which we can become or that which we are becoming to the immediate status quo around us. Because a lot of us from where I will speak for myself, if I look at where I am coming from, having had to sell coconut, do what we call shoe shine, sell anything sellable, work in the farm, and not mechanized farm where it has prospect. It is pure peasant and subsistence farming. It is just sustain the family. It was not possible as at then to want to see myself as one of the emerging executive coaches Africa is producing. It was not possible. But what shifted was how one day I looked at my family, sat quietly where we used to live, Snit Flat. There was a mango tree and orange around it. I sat under the mango tree. I was just reflecting upon the family I have been born into. Then I said, this legacy of my dad and my mom minus me. And that which I said, I didn't even know, because our confessions are powerful. Because as an MBIT master coach and a transformation executive coach, your languaging is also mission critical in reframing and repartitioning and reconditioning your mindset. It's important, because in MBIT there is something we learn about neuro-linguistic programming, that which you are confessing at the neural level, at the minute cellular level, it is what is going on there. But the moment you are able to confess it right, and more or less you are sharing with the universe, it gets reinforced, so that the universe and your body or your mind, and anytime I'm talking about a mind, as an MBIT master coach and MBIT trainer, I'm referencing your head brain, your heart brain, and your gut brain. So when you hear me reference mind anywhere in my phrase, I'm not referencing to a thinking thing. I'm referencing to a head brain, a heart brain, and a gut brain. So anytime you pay attention to that which you are saying or confessing into the universe, you should also remember that something else is going on within you neuroceptively. So adducing a certain kind of mindset that prepares you to be able to embrace failure, because the bedrock of success, like I've already mentioned, the iceberg of any successful person you know, are series of failures. As a leadership student, when I was studying leadership studies and management studies with the Institute of Commercial Management, there was one particular subject, contemporary leadership. And the book that we used for that has got 3 frames called The Art of Leadership. And one of the leaders I had the opportunity to study was Richard Branson, SkyTrain versus Virgin Airways or Virgin Atlantic or Virgin Airlines. And a lot of people may not come to terms with the number of times Richard Branson had to fail for us to today experience Virgin Atlantic. Look at the conglomerate of business that has come under Virgin. Meaning, if you are to only be fixated about the beauty and the celebrity status or the successful entrepreneur Richard Branson is, you may not know beneath his iceberg of success the number of failures he had to go through. So you require a certain mindset, a certain growth mindset, a certain possibility mindset, a certain can-do mindset, a certain way of being that can aid you to support, to reframe and repattern and review. From what we do in practice, we say your perception, how you view and you see the world, has got an influence in what goes on in your body. If you neuroceptically feel safe to run the race of life, or you feel threatened that if you don't get the best out of you, you won't amount to anything, your body coordinates the right perception to support you to become that which. So the right mindset is important to stay prepared so you can embrace failure on the path of success. The other thing I want to bring to the fray is the subject matter what you have in hand. Because it is very important. There is a story in the Bible when a prophet encountered a widow. The prophet asked the widow, what do you have in hand? And she said, I've got some small quantity of, it's just quantity of oil in a small vase or a jar or a vessel. And that which she got is what was used to multiply. Then there's also the story of Moses. When he encountered God, God asked him, what do you have in hand? And he said, a rod. He said, throw it on the ground. So the framing of the kind of mindset that gets you to want to embrace failure on your pursuit of success is to first question, what do you have in hand? What do you see? What do you have in hand? Because if you think prepared, you only have a certificate. But if you are staying prepared of that kind of mindset, you question what you have in hand. That you say certificate is not only enough. You require certain experiences to aid you, to build the potentials, to enhance the capacity, to enhance your competences, to enhance your capabilities. That is what is required. To model a certain frame of mindset that will aid you to embrace failure in pursuit of your success, the greatness of what you want to achieve. It is very important to become aware that what you have in hand, and this is metaphorical statement in reference to what you have in your heart. I will come to the principles. So it is very important that if you want to stay prepared such that you can succeed, such that you can reach the higher height. I knew I have the flair of speaking, but that alone was not enough. Because where I come from, I didn't have the opportunity where reading books here and there was easy. So I came to the point to know that I don't like reading. But to become that which I am today and in pursuit of, I can't skip reading. Interestingly, I have over 100 articles I've written. I've got 4 books I've written. That same person. Because the moment I was able to reorient that in pursuit of the success I want to achieve, it is important to know what I have in hand. So it will determine what must come to play to support, to nurture what I have in hand. Because every seed requires nurturing. And which is important. Every seed requires nurturing. But you must first identify the seed and identify the environment in which this seed can grow. I did not become a coach and a corporate trainer of this kind of great repute out of the blue. So that is why I'm saying that the kind of success you want to see, or people will be fixated about on the surface, beneath it are like an iceberg, are failures, struggles, challenges. And you must have the right frame of mindset to be resilient to these challenges, to these failures, by embracing them. So in something we do in coaching, we say, whatever you feel, don't give it an interpretation. Don't give it judgment. Don't cast it down. Let it sit with you and experience what the emotion brings to your awareness. Become aware of the feelings that you are feeling. Because if you can let it all sit with you, you then can embrace it. We call it embody it. So that the right neurological strength, the right biological chemistry, the right natural sense can emerge out of you, and you join forces with the universe. So the right mindset, the growth mindset, the possibility mindset, the fulfillment mindset, the purposeful mindset, all require nurture, but you must first find it in your hand like a seed. Then it is also imperative for you to want to nurture a certain kind of network. Because it was through my network in 2001 that I heard about coaching. I was by then participating in a program called Life Design, far away in a village in Ghana called Begro. Now it is a town. And the trainers and the team, or the staff team, had met, and I had the privilege to sit among them, and I heard Betty Sprue and her kind talking about that. As of 2001, they were talking about the emergent third leg of human capital development called coaching was doing incredible things. Where in my world, when I hear the word coaching, all that I know is about sports. But the truth about research about coaching will tell you that it comes from that space, because coach is like, I think it's a Hungarian word that meant from one place to the another, where we put, so it's actually evolved to become putting people in a structure that moves from one location to the another, and it entered sports, it entered the dictionary, and today it is one way we use to support people to become a better version. And I'm excited the transformation executive coach I have become over the years. So don't look at my coaching prowess now. I take you back to 2001 when I first heard about the word coaching. And I heard about the word coaching within my network. Within my network. And it is very profound and important that to be able to embrace failure and staying prepared for the desired success, you must be aware and pay attention to the quality of your network. And sometimes we think that in as much as it's okay, if you want to become rich, you must make sure you ride with those who are rich people. But it doesn't start there. You must first have the frame of mindset I've discussed, and have it endear you to people of that nature. Because when I heard what coaching was, I had the privilege to have been a staff on that same training for I think 3 different years up to 2004. And it got me closer to these trainers so they could give me space around them and listen to the insight. Look, if you ever get the opportunity to sit beneath Dr. Caroline Aziz Fuqua, Betty Sprue, Joyce, Sue, and their kind, you have no option than to become better. So it is not just choosing to be around such people, because you must prove that you are worthy to be in that network. You might have demonstrated that you have the gift, the potential, the capability, and the capacity, and the competence to be in that network. Because when you go into such network, you shouldn't become a taker, but you should become partaker of the energy they build. Because Napoleon Hill says that any time 1, 2, or 3 people meet in a mastermind, a third mind emerges. So you shouldn't go into network where you are a taker. You become like a parasite. You don't give anything to the network. You are there to take. Naturally, that network won't open up to you. It wouldn't, because you're only coming to parasite on them. But if you know we all have got something to give, we all have got something to nurture, we have got seeds to nurture. So it is very important that you go into networks that you desire to become like them with something in hand. And no, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about, like I've said, if I mention mind, I'm not talking about your thinking thing. I'm actually referencing your head brain, your heart brain, the cardiac, the gut brain, your autonomic nervous system, your pelvic intelligence. You bring all these, even in its raw state or not refined state, even if you have that, you can bring them to the network so that your presence creates the collective adaptive intelligence of the entire network. And that was where I found the interest to explore 2001 what coaching was. I didn't have anybody in Ghana to look up to as a coach because it was not common here. So your network is very important. And in entering networks, please don't go empty-handed. Never go into any network empty-handed. Go with the substance you are, even in its raw state. Because networks that can identify talent from afar will open its doors to you. Then, the kind of location. I was talking to one friend of mine, the swag farmer, I call him, Emmanuel and Sam Profi, somewhere in 2008. In the pursuit of all that we have become today, we were together as young people with the National Youth Stakeholders Forum. We formed that. We had a regular interaction with National Youth Authority of this country. I pride myself to say that I am part of those who made sure Ghana for the first time promulgated and launched its youth policy. It was by our hard work. I think it was Professor Mills that did that launch. So you must be able to know the kind of location, the environment required to aid you to be able to nurture the gift you have in hand. Because every success has gone through nurturing, and it is in that space that you can embrace failure, because you could listen and could hear and glean and learn from others' experiences. So you may not to step in those same path again. But if you don't have that right location for your network or from your network, I'm sorry. You see, and it's in the same network, in the kind of mentality and the kind of frame of mindset is the same way we used to nurture romantic relationships. It's the same way. There's no difference. Nobody stayed in his or her room and found a loved one. You needed to take some action. You needed to be in certain spaces. You needed to belong to a certain group. You needed to belong to a certain pool. You needed to have gone out there. You can't stay in your room and say, I found a high-valued woman, a high-valued man. It doesn't happen. Even if you have to belong to all these platforms here and there, it still takes effort. It still takes something you bring to that space. It still takes the kind of location, the kind of people, the kind of what you have available. Because even if you go to dating platforms, there are parameters of what people are looking for. Do you fit into those right parameters? Have you worked on your personal traumas? Have you worked on where you were coming from? Have you worked on the backgrounds you come from? Have you dated and failed and taken lessons? It is paramount and important. So to be able to build the kind of success and achievement you are in pursuit of, you must stay prepared. So to be able to embrace failure in its certain shapes and form. Then let's move to time management. One of the most beautiful things I have identified about this universe is time. We thought growing up, we would say time is money. But interestingly, if you pay attention and you look at the universe carefully, time is life. Guess what? TIME, LIFE. They are all 4-letter words. When we put somebody in the hospital with all the gadgets on the individual, within that time, if they see the oscillator going, beep, 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 it happens in time. And if it goes flat, everybody gets worried. Please, doctor, nurse, this, everybody started shouting. Because where there is no time, there is no life. So the knowing and awareness that time is life is how you begin to live your life within it. Because this universe is a frequency, and frequency oscillates in time. You see? So to be able to be on the path of success and staying prepared To be able to embrace failure, you must have a different relationship with your time. It's important. You must have time for yourself, time for your significant ones, time for your career, time for nurturing your relationships, time for your network, and time for your faith. And if you go into spaces and you relate with people, you go into environment, and the environment I'm talking here is both external and internal. If you internally don't have quality time with you, you eat haphazardly, you drink water haphazardly, you don't work within your circadian rhythm, you will destroy your humanity, you will destroy your life. The same way that the spaces you go into, the people you encounter, the people you associate with, if you don't do that within time. Look, I remember in Begro, I mentioned about life design training that we went through, and the first batch I privileged to have been part of, and I love the way I carried that my team along to graduation. I think I was the second youngest in that team, but visionaires, on our graduation we held a ceremony, and the DCE then, as usual, thought that Ghanaman time, as usual. By the time he got to the event, we had closed. So it became a cliche in Begro that Sir Vista, for that group of people called Vistarians or Vista, they don't joke with their time. And I embodied and imbibed it to date. I don't joke with time, because to me and my philosophy and understanding about life, time is life. It is not money. Money, it will come and go, but time is life. On the monitor in the hospital, when it goes 0, it means you are dead. So it means we all live, become, and becoming within time. So what is the quality of your time management? What have you apportioned in your life to what time and specific moment? Because even our seeds grow in seasons and times. That is it. The only way you can assess and monitor your success is actually within the seasons and times. It's time frame. Time frame. So, to be able to embrace, and one of the things that I've learned about the universe is that the universe will test you within time. It will throw everything at you within time. And your sustenance and resilience within this frame of time where life is throwing all the rocks at you. If you don't know that what is being thrown at you, the rocks can build a mountain for you to rise up. Like the story of the donkey that fell within the well, that he started gleaning on the sand, dropping it down. And the more he scratches to get more sand, the more he began rising up to surface. It all must be done within time. Then I want to address something I called life principles. Life principles. You see, to be able to embrace failure in pursuit of success and greatness and achievement, some things must guide you. For me, if you ask me about my life principle, I will sing the song, The Impossible Dream. This is my quest to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right, without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. You see, and the world I have come and lived in when I'm no more will be better because I came to live. That is my life principles. In your pursuit of this greatness, Is it against your faith? And you see, there are times that we allow idiosyncrasies of our religion to limit us, limited beliefs. I am a liberated Christian. I am not boxed in this dogmatic religiosity. No. Created in his image and likeness. Give me dominion and power. That is more profound to me. And that when I seek wisdom, I go to my Holy Spirit, I go to Jesus. I ask, that is my source. But all those other idiosyncrasies and dogmatic stuffs from the Pharisees and the Sadducees, that box people. I'm not like that. So when I'm talking about faith, in what I'm in pursuit of, I don't believe in limitations. Within the confines of the law. Yesterday, my brother Emmanuel shared this and it was powerful. That which I am living for, does it stimulate? You know, it is so easy to mention happiness, but if you dig deep, you will come across two phrases that comes from the Greek. You know, hedonia, that is the pleasure of that which you do. And eudaimonia, the well-being, the purposefulness, the virtue of what you do. And for me, what I am doing, whom I am being, is in the context of, this is my quest. Even my children know. People around me, because the network I go into, if you don't know, Scofray has got a quest living for. If you can receive me, and that is what I bring to that table, the quest, the quest to be better for this. And I know I am better than my current moment. So each day I work towards that betterment. So it is also important for you to adduce life principles, life values, because that is what, you see, this your heart is not just a pumping thing. It houses your purpose, your principles, your values, your feelings, your emotions. So these are some of the areas. I've spoken about the mindset, the possibility, the purposeful mindset, the growth mindset that is required to build the kind of life you want. You see, the iceberg, to stay prepared so that you can embrace failure in your pursuit of success and greatness. Then now let me talk about failure as a wrap-up. You know, failure is what fertilizes success. Because before I can trust to entrust something in your hand, you must be tested. And that is what life does to all of us. That the gift life the universe gave to us to come, universe must test that have we embodied, accepted, and received the call to run the race with the gift. So I want to ask you, have you accepted? Have you embodied? Have you received, understood, and committed to why you were brought onto this earth? Because the true definition of what people celebrate as success, beneath it is the number of things you have failed at. Richard Branson, the owner of Virgin Airlines, he failed so many times. I know because I studied him. Then if you remember the British and the French Naval War, it was until Horatio Nelson came to the fore for the British. See, you must, if you have not failed at anything, I cannot entrust something in your hands. If you have not been challenged and come to your wit end, and out of the blue, a certain resilience emerges and you begin to rise and walk again, you are not even fulfilled about anything you achieve. So failure must be redefined by you with a certain mindset. Failure must be reimagined by you with a different perception. And remember, don't let your eyes deceive you, because like I said, when I talk about perception also, I'm talking about what does your heart sees, what does your gut experience, and what does just your head brain imagine. Because to be able to embrace failure and stay on the path of success, remember, success is not linear, it's not a straight line. It is undulating. That is how success is. It is up, middle, down, 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 come a bit up, and each up it comes as part of the process. So how do you embrace the failures in your life so that it builds your iceberg of the success people want to celebrate with you? I am Scofray, and I am a transformational coach. I offer executive and leadership coaching, team building, and all that. I'm also a certified MBIT master coach, multiple brain integration techniques master coach, and MBIT trainer. I support people to take a stand for the greatness they can be. I've shared with you staying prepared, embracing failure in your pursuit of success. I hope this supports you. Share and like this video, and let's all be on the path of greatness together. See you on the flip side.